Alright, today we're looking at a new radio from Ranger. This is the 2627, I believe, is what we're looking at here. They got the tape around it, but 2627 is it? Yeah, over here. Texas Ranger 2627 base station. So this is a brand new radio. Serial number is 2025, so it was made sometime in the latter part of 2025. This is coming to me from one of my distributors, so I'm going to check this one out, and we'll see how it is. You're going to recognize it, obviously, from another radio. Alright, so got to get it out of this plastic. It always, there's always, a smell. It reminds me of, that shipping container smell. I'm assuming that's how they come by boat from overseas, so there's just a certain smell that I smell on electronics and stuff that have come via shipping container that have been sealed for quite some time. It's a long trip, I think, by boat, but that's how companies import things. It's the cheapest way to get it here by boat, I think. Alright, so you can see what the radio looks like here. So obviously it looks like a radio we've seen before, so I'm just gonna save you guys the trouble and get this out and we'll turn it on. So I just wanted to show, for anybody that's interested, there is a QR code here for more information about their Ranger's website, rangerusa.com, so you can check that out. And yep, we'll get this out. I'm not going to do the big unboxing because everybody knows what comes with the radio. Really quick here, sorry about the reflection from the overhead light. Do you see how I believe this has the style of the 2547G? I'm assuming these are going to be orange colored, and it almost looks like there's an orange filter lens here over the meter. I really hope that we don't see blue behind the meter or something that would just really throw off the whole look of the radio. One thing to always say is it's always better to be careful. I use a dental pick and kind of just loosely, when I open stuff like this, because you don't want to scratch the radio. You really don't want that to happen, so you have to be careful. And a dental pick works pretty good for that. Just kind of get in there and kind of move that tape, get it out of the way so that you can simply just do that and get the radio out. These are not a super large base station, so it is nice to see that, they are somewhat compact in that sense. Now I would like to see some foam in here, like a foam insert. I think that would be smarter if they packed it with a foam insert. It is double box, so that's saying something. And these are heavy boxes. This isn't a really cheap, especially this box. You can see it's thick-walled box, but I would like to see a foam insert maybe. Now I know that it's going to be hard to do that because of the fact that you have this here. And let's be honest, boxes are expensive to ship, so the longer they make this box lengthwise, the more it's going to cost to ship it. But so you do have this here. What I guess I would like to see maybe is when they put these in the box in the factory, put the front facing the side of the box where there's more cushion. And what I mean by that is obviously this is going to have your factory microphone and probably I'm sure it probably comes with a mobile power cord, whatever have you, like a mic clip and all the things that you'd get the manual. I don't know if they give you a schematic with this. I know with the 2547 they did. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to open that right now to find out. But we're going to get this out and hope that there's no damage. So that's something that, I definitely think they should rethink that going forward and move this radio around. If I was going to sell this radio after I serviced it, I would definitely put the front facing this way. And honestly, I know the customer probably wouldn't they would prefer it probably, but they wouldn't like the higher shipping costs. I would probably put another outer box around this with more bubble protection if it were me selling it. Alright, so one of the cool things I noticed, this has a flip down bail. You'll be able to see it better once I get it unboxed, but it doesn't have those feet anymore. The feet that were, I can show you the feet. This is a 2547 that I own. See the feet? These were very easily broken. And I think there's feet in the back too, but I'd never used those feet in the back. So as you can see there, I mean, they work if you're careful, but the flip down is much better. Again, it's good that they did that. One thing I would ask them maybe to add, and I think it would cost very little money to add. Let's look at my VHF UHF rig here. So you see it has a flip down, but it also has rubber. I believe that's a rubber material of some sort. It's like a padding. It's a little bit of protection. Now, am I being picky? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I think that would be very user friendly if they added that little bit to it. Now, you could do that yourself, but I think just the radio in general should come with that. Okay, so anytime you get a new product from Ranger, you can tell it's never been opened. The way that they do the back, that's always a good sign. So you see how it's taped and it's all like folded up. So mobile radios, base stations, they all have that. I'll be doing the quick test of this on DC because I'm just not going to take the power cord out or any of that. But it does have an AC/DC switch, so you can use it in either setting. You know, you could use this DC or AC. Okay, so here's our flip down bail, so you can see. Let me actually figure out how we need to do that because it looks like it could be a little bit different. Okay, so a little bit easier with two hands. I'm using the phone today, so I'm not using the tripod mount camera. So what you would want to do is just gently push out on either side, and then it flips up. Now, like I said, if you had that little bit of protection here, say you were going to put this on top of something else, you wouldn't want this on top of something else. So you would definitely, you know, you could get some type of material or something, or you could put down some type of matted. I can show you what I do a lot with my equipment. You can buy like something like this anti-slip pad. It also is a protective pad, but it also is anti-slip. So not only is this on here good for protecting other equipment, but also it's anti-slip. And you can see I put that on top of my radio here for like my little HL2 and PC and stuff. So obviously there's purposes for stuff like that, but having this in general is going to protect things that this would sit on top of. Okay, so looking at our radio, obviously we've seen it before, so I think it's a good looking radio. I've always liked the look of these radios. I do have a stand somewhere that actually what that would do is it sits on the desk and then the bail sits inside of that and it gives you different viewing angles. And that would be really nice for this to get it up. If this was, say, your only radio sitting on your desk or something and you're sitting in front of it, you may not like looking down at it. So what that would do is kind of angle it up so that you would be looking more towards it instead of down at it. So that's just something, you know, that I found. I can't remember who made it. It's something for ham radios. Like you could use it on that icon I've shown you. I don't have that handy to show you guys right now, but it has like some little rubber pads on the bottom. So, you know, it's kind of a nice piece of equipment or something nice to set your equipment on. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to turn this radio on and just kind of have a quick look at, you know, how does it look, what color of the display. I think these are red based on what I'm seeing, but I'm not 100% sure. They look orange on the box, but I'm just really not sure until we turn it on. Here's the book. So it looks like maybe they might have taken the 2547 book and just put a new cover on it and changed some of the, you know, obviously the model number. I don't see a schematic in here or the service manual like Galaxy gave it with it. So, you know, you might, if you have one of those, keep that handy. CB Trick still has a 2547 info on there. I believe it's going to be 100% the same with this radio. So what you see there, you'll see inside of here. Okay, so we're hooked up to my antenna. It's a 5/8 wave Mako without the ground plane radials, V5000. So we're going to turn this radio on. So we have the standard red, that's okay, I don't mind the red. And then we have kind of an orange. I really like how that looks. I'm not a fan anymore of bright LEDs. Let's get that tone. Here's the full brightness of the meter and then dimming. So obviously you can shut everything off if you want to. Yeah, let's tone that way down. That's much nicer there. It's kind of like a high cut in a sense. So it's nice that that's built into the base unit. Some of you may not be fans of the GNF. That's kind of stayed around. There's times where it can be useful, but most of the time not really. So I'm not going to really touch too much on that. This is one of my local guys. It's a local channel.
And happy 2026. I'm taking my time.
Oop, wrong one. That was upper sideband. There we go.
My cubicle quad sits at about 50 feet. I'm pretty much pointing right at you. That does help too. The radio is probably capable of doing about 100 watts, but why?
It's kind of a strange filter. If you really wanted better filtering, what I would recommend with a bass unit like this is get like an after the fact filter that you take the external speaker out of the radio, go into that filter and use your own speaker to filter it. West Mountain makes a really nice one. But it really doesn't make it sound horrible.
I don't know. Moderation, man. Moderation. I don't know what else to say. But no, I've been playing with these things for a good long while, and I don't know. I like this little radio. I mean, it sounded great right out of the box. I didn't have to do a whole lot to it. But all right, man. I'm gonna shut up.
It's like an extreme high cut. Obviously, it's not going to be to everybody's liking, but so if you shut that clarifier option off and the clarifier does nothing, you can see the little light is lit. So obviously these definitely benefit from a real frequency alignment. I'm not going to get into that on this video, but we have a 9 and 19. And obviously talkback, RF power, SWR mod, and power indicator. This is your RF gain and mic gain. RF gain is the inner, so you can dial it back and stuff. So it's a very easy, basic CB radio for somebody that doesn't want all that menu functionality. And you know, think about it, how many base station radios are on the market? Well, there's only this one now. Because the 2547 and the 2547G are non-existent now. They're still out in production. I actually bought one of each just to keep one brand new factory stock because I'm a fan of this chassis. It's a very popular chassis, as it's basically the 959 in most cases, 949. So. For my taste, I would unlock the clarifier on this radio. That would be what I would do. But I think it looks good. It suits a purpose in the hobby that we generally don't see from other companies. Nobody really takes the time to make a base station. What I really would like on this, would set this radio off, is to have this whole face in black. I think that would look really good. What I asked them to do, maybe at some point later, is omit this. We don't really need this anymore, and put like a WX feature here with the WX channels. Now obviously this is for America. If you're in other parts of the world, that really wouldn't help you, but I really only focus on radios like this for America. WX would be nice here. As far as that goes, I would like to see FM added. I know a lot of guys don't use FM, but it would be nice to add another function here for FM. What else did I ask them possibly to do later? I asked them actually to omit the 6-digit on the counter. I don't use that. I don't need that to operate sideband. Now, a lot of guys may not agree with me on that, but that's just something that I find can be more of a hindrance on this radio. Now, this one doesn't seem to be flickering or anything so far. You know, Maybe they've improved the frequency counter board or something a little bit. It's hard to really say because I haven't looked inside, but one of my pet peeves on the 2547 would be that sometimes it flickers. Now there is an adjustment if this is the same board on the actual frequency counter unit to fix that and make it work better, and I've done that on mine. One of the other things I found on the 2547 that I have is the channel selector kind of flakes out the indicator. This one doesn't seem to be doing it, so maybe this one, you know, obviously it's a newer model. Maybe they've looked at that and they've changed something in it, but this one obviously is working well, so everything is there. So obviously that can be fixed if you take the face panel off. Everything on a radio like this you can service and repair. This is not surface mount, so there's some benefit to that, especially for the do-it-yourselfer or the guy at home who doesn't want to have to send it out to somebody and trust somebody else to do the work for them. You can easily do stuff with a radio like this. You're not gonna be able to do as much with a surface mount. You can't even get schematics for most surface mount radios. I mean, let's face it. So, you know, they're basically throwaways in a lot of cases, which is a shame. But, you know, this can fit a certain need. Is, again, I say this, you know, it's not going to be for everybody, but I do really enjoy how that meter looks. I think it looks really good. Now let's take a look at this meter, and then I'll show you on my 2547 over here that I have an LED. I much prefer this. It looks more natural and very calm to me. Actually, let me shut the light off in the room first. Okay, so this is with the light off in my room. Now it is daylight outside, so you can see maybe a little bit of light from my test equipment and whatnot, but oh, that's RF gain. I'm trying to use the dimmer. Here's the dimmer, I think, right here. So obviously you could dim it down some to the point where, but you can still see the meter. The LEDs here, I believe these are LEDs, they do have a little bit of a sparkle in the camera. That's not present at all. That looks really good, but I like the look of that meter a lot. I think that looks really nice. I'm curious to see if it changes color or anything when I TX. I don't think it will, though. Alright, so I kind of propped it up here. I'm not going to spend a lot more time because I'm running low on memory on my phone here, my camera. So I just propped it up on a 797 Texas Ranger here to kind of show the radio a little bit. So we're just going to test the power. So we're going to make sure our mic gain's up all the way, our RF power's up all the way. And I have a 25 watt element in here. So this is a Bird 43 with the peak kit on. And this is the power that we're doing. So it's somewhere between 12 and 15 watts on the Bird. And up here on the LP100, it's about the same, about 12 plus watts, somewhere in that range. So that's okay. Obviously, you know, I don't think you'd really want to turn it up more than that because you get a lot of that unlinear transmission. Yeah, you get more power, but in reality, you want your sideband to be nice and linear. And by, you know, turning things up too much, it starts to degrade your signal more than it helps. It looks good on a meter, but that's really where it ends. So you can see the SWR display works well. Frequency-wise, obviously, you know, it needs an alignment. It's a little bit off frequency, but that's not horrible. You know, that's kind of normal. As you can see, 4 watts of carrier. If we lower the RF power down all the way, let's see where it goes. Probably a watt. So that's pretty good. That's about where I would kind of set it to begin with anyways. Let's see on AM. 1 2 3 1 2 3, check check check, hello, 1 2 3 1 2 3. So it does have quite a bit of the ALC overshoot. That's kind of normal with CBs and stuff like that. People like that. So you can look at the oscilloscope here and you can see at times when the power kind of goes up higher, you can see an overshoot. Now I don't have my persistence time on where you can actually see it stay there, but you can catch it in real time. So that's really not a problem. I do have the Roger beep function on also. As far as that goes, I'll turn the talkback function on for a second. 1 2 1 2 1 2, check check check, hello. I'm using a really high-pitched Road Devil mic, so there's a lot of treble in my transmission. There's a little Roger beep, so standard Roger beep that they have. We'll turn the RF power up all the way and kind of test the power there. At RF power all the way, 1 2 3 1 2 3, we're seeing upwards of almost 20 to 25 watts, so that's pretty good. On the LP100, it's showing anywhere from 20 almost to 28. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6, but there's still a little bit of overshooting and stuff like that. But it's a little more manageable at this point. Now again, you can get some more modulation out of this. This is just a factory setup, so there's a big overshoot there. But as far as it goes, let's do that carrier one more time here and just kind of see where we're looking. As far as it's looking, I'd say it looks really good, and you know, there's obviously room for improvement with any radio like this. So, you know, the fun part is going in and adjusting it the right way and just making it work a little bit better. Let's look at the mod meter really quick on it. Now, this isn't going to be something that you should take a lot of notation from, but obviously you can adjust that on the circuit board. And I would do that with voice, not with a single tone, because what will happen is you do it with a single tone, and then when you speak, you'll peg that meter out, and then that could damage the meter. So you don't want to do that. You'd want to set it with voice and kind of maybe just yell into the mic. That way you can get a baseline. You know, that's all that is. It's like a relative thing. And then power, same thing. Somewhere it's showing in between 3 and 6 watts, and you know, this is never going to be one of those radios where, like, I don't think even if you were to turn the modulation up or God forbid take a limiter out or something, that it's going to slam the meter. So what I do with these bases is I keep it in SWR, because I'd rather know that that's important to me there more than the other two functions. But again, this is the new 2627. I'll make another video later after I start the service part of the radio. New radio to check out, 73.